Michael Saylor bought $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, but why is the price of Bitcoin going lower? How can it be that one guy is buying $2 billion and then still the price goes down? I will explain you that in this video. And also I want to talk about historical data of Bitcoin, because you're probably thinking right now, is the bull market over? So let's go over these two topics in this video. The first topic I want to talk about is Michael Saylor. We can see that last night he bought another $2 billion worth of tokens, and he owns right now almost 500,000 Bitcoins worth $47 billion. This guy is the OG, the legend of the Bitcoin. I think he is the biggest ambassador of the market right now. So how is this possible? So how it works, because if you buy $2 billion on an exchange, the price of Bitcoin will go like insane. It will go way higher. But what these guys are doing with such big money, they are buying OTC. So this means like they are buying it straight away from miners or big companies that are farming Bitcoin with their miners, and they send them the money and the miners are sending them the Bitcoin. So they don't have any slippage. It's just based on the fair price that they're paying for that right now. So this is the first topic of this video. But the second one is we see that Bitcoin broke below the huge support area. And to talk about that in this video is like, where was the support? It was here, guys. This purple line, let me make it a little bit yellow. So we saw Bitcoin was going like sideways. We make one top here, we have a double top here. And most of the time when we have a double top or triple top, it is bearish. So we are a little bit unlucky in this situation. Like I said, it doesn't mean the whole bull market is over. So we saw a double top. The last time that we saw this was in 2021. We saw one top here and then another top with, of course, first a pullback and then we go upside. But also when we zoom in, we see several times also on a smaller time frame a double top. So what we see here is like we are in an uptrend in 2021. You need to understand an uptrend and a downtrend. Right now Bitcoin isn't in a downtrend yet, or it will come, who knows. But the important thing is, what is an uptrend? So what we see here is like we make a high. Let me make this yellow again. So we make a high, we have a pullback, then we make another higher high, then we have a pullback, then we have another higher high, and this is an uptrend. We see that the Bitcoin price is increasing. It is increasing, making higher highs and higher lows. Then there is a moment that everything switched, right? And that moment is here right now in the 2021. We see that Bitcoin have a pullback. It breaks below the last low, and then we couldn't make a new higher high. And that is the moment everybody thought the bull market is over. And which results in that everybody is selling. Everybody is at that moment selling in panic, which the sellers get exhausted. And at that moment, the price finds a bottom. And then what happens is, when there are no sellers left and people start buying the dip and stuff like that, the price will increase. But the people who sold here are thinking like, oh, maybe another run, let me buy back, which results in a chain reaction, which we make another high here, a low, another high, a low, we didn't broke below this one, and we make a new high, higher high than the previous one. But the power of the second pump after that wasn't that great, which results in a pullback. And that is exactly what we're also seeing right now in 2025. Like, look at the similarities. We see a top here, and then we see another top here. I am not saying the bull market is over. I'm just saying we need to be cautious. Cautious about the fact that we make a double top. But it doesn't mean it is over, right? Because here in March and April, we saw the same. We were in an uptrend, we couldn't break the previous high, and that is the moment we were going sideways for around approximately like 177 days. And then a new uptrend started, but now again we couldn't break the last high. So the power of going upwards is a little bit out. The buyers are exhausted. Everybody from earlier this year who bought the dips are also exhausted. So we need to keep in mind these kind of stuff. But of course, I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. I'm just saying something that maybe people don't want to hear, because the chart shows some data that every time when we couldn't break the last all-time high and we couldn't make and higher high, that is the moment we most of the time have a pullback. So right now we also broke below the support line of the yellow line. So what is the next target? Like, what is possible for Bitcoin to fall back on? So we can see this area, right? This area of only green. So most of the time, like, we fall back to a previous stop. So this will be around 73,000. We don't want to break that. Is it healthy to have a correction like that? Like, if the scenario is like this, we have a pullback, we bounce here, and then we make a new all-time high. It is possible. Doesn't mean that the bull market is over. No, not at all. Like, I'm not stressing at all right now. It's important to have both scenarios in mind. Like, if you make these kind of tops, be prepared, take some profits along the way, because people who bought here have also profits like 100% up. It's nice gains for everybody, also for the altcoin market. But the strange thing is right now is that Bitcoin is still at all-time area, right? All-time high. If we zoom out on the weekly, we can see the same thing. We see that Bitcoin is still at all-time area. We have a pullback. It's healthy on the higher time frame. You need to zoom out. But if you look at the altcoin market is bleeding hard. We saw the same. 2021, we see one top, we see a huge pullback, and then we saw another high, higher than the previous one, and then the bull market was over. We don't know, like, it can be that it is 3 times this time. We don't know. A lot of institutional players are also in the market right now, so we need to keep that in mind, that also this cycle can be different. If everybody thinks the same, the opposite will happen, right? Everybody was thinking September is a worst month. Like, if we look at the historical data, September was a worst month in history. Everybody was thinking that. What results in that the price is priced in, and then what happens is, boom, 7% up. And that is the reality. You need to think different compared to other people. So right now the situation is Bitcoin is still at all-time high area, right? But everybody is thinking there is no altcoin season. There is no altcoin season, or everybody is hoping for it, or everybody is saying we are in an altcoin season. The opposite will happen soon. So yeah, like, what I'm thinking right now is we have a nice buy opportunity to buy some altcoins. There is also downside potential, but also keep in mind is we didn't saw any altcoin season yet like the previous cycles. So we need to understand that we better buy for the good opportunity here compared when everything is green, when everybody is interested. You don't want to be interested during these months. And I want to show you one more thing. I want to talk about wallets. What are the Bitcoin whales doing right now? If we look at the wallets that are holding less than 1 Bitcoin, it is increasing by the day. From 2012, the amount of holders less than 1 Bitcoin is increasing. Since around December, we see a pullback. We see a small pullback of wallets. It was around 1 million wallets, and right now it's around sitting like 990. So around 10,000 people are leaving the space with 1 Bitcoin on their wallet. But if we look at the 10 Bitcoin wallets, data which wallets were holding less than 10 Bitcoin, but more than 1 Bitcoin, it is the same. We saw a curve, we saw it going down. And also since October already, these people are selling and not buying anymore. And if we look at the 100 Bitcoin wallets, they are buying as mad apes. So between 10 and 100 Bitcoin, these institutional players or even private persons are buying a lot. It is good to see that. So we see that these people are buying, the 1 and 10 Bitcoin are selling. But what happens with the 1000 Bitcoin? The people who are holding more than 1000 Bitcoin. These guys are staying the same. Like we saw since January 2024, we saw an increase. And after that, we see just the same amount of wallets. It isn't that much in change. What about 10,000 Bitcoin? These guys, we see a pattern. Like 10,000 Bitcoin is a lot. So since 2021, when the bull market started, Bitcoin was around 64,000. So the top of Bitcoin was in. These people are buying 10,000 Bitcoin. Buying. When the bottom was in, so the bottom of Bitcoin was in at around 17,000, these people start selling along the way. So 10,000 people, it doesn't make sense, right? So you buy here with 10,000 Bitcoin and then you sell it here. Like, why you start selling there? It wouldn't make more sense that the amount of wallets are going up and around here it goes more down. But still, they're maybe selling like portions, and then they have average price back because they are good profit right now. If you have 10,000 Bitcoin and then you have like a 100% up at 100K, it's a nice amount. So in general, we see that the smaller wallets are selling. So the smaller amount of wallets are selling. So the 100 Bitcoin wallets are buying a lot. So the bottom was here around 15,800 and right now we have 18,000 wallets holding more than 1 Bitcoin. It can also be that the guys are splitting it into multiple wallets, so 100, 100, 100. We don't know, but the big players are buying. The price of Bitcoin isn't that bad. We just broke below the support line, and what we want to do is we want to close the daily candle above this yellow line. If that is possible, we are still fine. If not, we can expect maybe like something like this. We retest this one, and then we go back probably to 73,000. And from that moment, we need to see what is Bitcoin doing. Do we have a rebound with a lot of interest because people are buying the dips, of course, and also want to trade the chart? Or if we break below the 73,000, then we don't know what happens. Let's not think about that yet. Like, we are still in a good area, especially on the weekly. When you zoom out on the high time frame, you can still see that the price is in an uptrend. Like, we're going higher, we're going lower, we're making a higher high, and then we set a new low, and then from that moment we can also go up. So let's see how it goes, guys. I hope this clarified the situation of Bitcoin a little bit and how the OTC market works and who is buying right now in the market. See you on the next one. Bye bye.